Good morning once again, and a warm welcome back to those who've been with us since the inception of the Daylight Breakfast Show. Just like we had earlier indicated, we had moved from the in-house stories that made it through to the headlines. We looked at the front pages of the various local newspapers. We had the sports updates. We also had looked at some of the trending stories, and now we move to the last segment of the Daylight Breakfast Show, where we're looking at a certain topic that is very pertinent and very vital to the nation, or that is of public importance. Well, my name is Andrew Chandazulu, and of course, as you join me on this interview, I've been joined by Mr. Keagan Mulundu, who happens to be an author. Mr. Mulundu, good morning and welcome to the Daylight Breakfast Show once again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Good morning to the viewers.
Thank you very much. Great to host you, and of course has been accompanied by Madam Blessings Mvula, who is a student at Evelyn Horn College. So of course we'll be further discussing a lot of issues in relation to why mindset transformation matters in national development. Madam Mvula, good morning as well, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers. Yes.
Thank you. Great. Now, as we get to set the ball rolling, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Mulundu. When we look at mindset transformation, why is this transformation of the mind important in relation to national development, as we pick it up from there?
Okay. So, in fact, I will also mention the fact that I'm so very much passionate about mindset transformation.
Okay.
And I see it as a tool, as a catalyst that can help us to move as a nation from one level to the other. So why this mindset transformation is important is because usually the development of any country, of any society, is dependent upon the state of its own citizen, the state of its own people. So if the people who are living in that society developed personally, it means that that society or that nation is also going to develop. However, development at personal level is dependent upon the state of the mind.
Okay.
How is the mindset? So it is this mindset transformation that helps us really to look at things in a more different way, to look at things in a more positive way. And even when we talk of patriotism, the love for one's country, that one also goes with the mindset. There are people who do not really have that love for their nation. There are people who do not really think to say, okay, my actions, how will it be able to affect other people or my other fellow countrymen and their women? So it is that kind of reconditioned mindset that helps us to be responsible and also to be able to think forward for the future, not only for today, but even for the next generation.
As we talk about not only thinking for today and the next generation rather, I would love to also ask this question. Why do you think it is important that Zambia should focus on development that is anchored on skills and innovation, rather than just me looking forward to getting a degree or diploma? Because you have rightly put it that the mind has a huge role to play in order for someone to contribute to the development of the nation.
All right. Well, I think for me, why I feel so is the fact that skills does not only make one to be able to possess a document or a qualification, but it adds value to themselves. Like, for example, if I've got a skill in tailoring, so it means that at this time, I think all I can need is maybe to have my own, machines to be able to do those things. Compared to a thing whereby you have got a paper that only requires maybe to be employed, but maybe to some extent, the kind of skills or the level of skills that you need to survive are not actually like properly made. So for me, I feel yes, skills development is the way to go. And this skills development also should be attached with the right mindset. Okay. Because, for example, you can have just the same example I gave. For example, you have a skill in tailoring. But again, without the right mindset, even just for you to start doing that thing and monetizing it, it's going to be a challenge. Exactly. Because you are going to have, excuses that you can give. I do not have money to buy the tailoring machine.
Yeah.
I cannot do this because the location where I am, most people do not, want maybe to reduce the sizes of their clothes, or so there is always a lot of barriers that we create in the mindset. So for me, before we talk about anything else, be it skills, whatever it is, first of all, let's look at the state of the mind. What is contained in the mindset is what is going to determine how well we do other things and how well we respond to opportunities that are made available to us. So that also includes skills.
School being looked at as an equalizer, and looking at the current education system, do you think it is in line or towards that angle of promoting critical thinking as well as a problem-solving mindset?
I think I would say to a larger extent, unfortunately, it is not. Because I don't know how we can come up as a country to have this discussion and get a second look at our academic or maybe our curriculum and the things that we are teaching in the schools. Because really, you are going to see that our schools have been able to promote more of remembering, because the exams are meant to test who remembers well, and not really who is able to be, resourceful, who is able to maybe think outside the box. So it's about what you were taught, then are you able to remember that? So now it's also not about a question whether that which you are taught is right or not.
Exactly.
For you, when you are taught, you take that as the gospel truth.
Yes.
Then when they come to question you, you have to answer the way you are taught. So as a result, it is a thing where we are not able to test, to say this which we are taught, is it true or not? Then also to think outside the box. For example, we are told, okay, this color is blue. Then are we able to prove that? Why is it blue? Why not red? So if at all maybe there was also a way of how exams would have been maybe made or put to promote thinking, because real life has nothing to do with your memory. As a matter of fact, people who are very much good with their memory in real life tend to perform badly, because maybe their past bad experiences affect them very well. But real life has got a way of like having to be innovative, having to be resourceful, and having to be able to think outside the box and be a bit proactive and not reactive.
Okay.
That's what real life is about.
Okay, great. Now, as we get to move on, I think the lady has been quiet so much. As I get to you, Madam Mvola, we've laid the best, and we have actually talked about how much important mindset change is. I would love to find this out from you. You being a student, do you think just getting a degree is enough for someone to thrive and contribute to the developmental agenda of this nation?
Okay, so personally, I don't think getting a degree only is enough. Just like he said, we have to have the right mindset so that we can see how we can contribute to the economic development, or rather national development. So I feel it's how you feed your mind. It's what you tell yourself. Am I capable of doing this? The people you interact with. So get to interact with the right people that are going to help you fix your mindset. We are trying by all means to move from dependency to creativity. Let us not only depend on the paper that we are striving for in schools, colleges, universities, wherever, but let us also see how best we can help ourselves to contribute to national development through skills.
Okay. Now, when you say that we need to look at all those things, how do you define a grown-up mind when we talk about, because mindset change as well comes with growth. You need to identify yourself, and for you to identify yourself, you need a certain level of maturity. How do you look at that in relation to the importance that it plays when it comes to mindset change?
So for me, what I know is being a leader is not only when you have a title. So it's up to you where you feel like at this point I can set my mind to something, because as where I am, I'm a youth, yeah. I'm looking at how I'm going to help in national development. I'm looking at how I'm going to be when I become a leader, because we're the future leaders of tomorrow. So what am I going to feed my mind that is going to help me in the future? So it doesn't have to have a certain age where you start saying, no, when I reach 30, when I reach 35. It starts when you are young. They even say train a child in the way they should grow. So we also have to train our minds in the way we want to be led. Because what we feed our minds is actually how we are going to live our lives. If I tell myself to say I'm a failure, I'm going to be defined by that. I'm going to move with the fact that I'm a failure because I've defined that on myself. I have put that on myself. So it depends with how you want yourself to be in the future. It depends with how you want to mold yourself and impact others as well. So the age, I feel, doesn't matter. We can still do it even at a young age. You impact knowledge in the growing people where we are as youths. You impact knowledge in such people to say, no, you have to be a strategic person because you're going to be the leader in the next future.
Okay. Yes. Having said that, again, I know this cannot just come flawlessly. It will have its own challenges. What are some of the challenges that you think you and your fellow students might encounter in this transformation as you head towards mindset change?
Okay, so fear being one of the biggest challenges. And the other thing we look at is no, only people with connections, only people with money, like well-to-do families can do it. So again, we are feeding the mind with negativity. Why not you yourself involve yourself in youth activities where we get together, share information, acquire knowledge from each other? So again, fear, we get to say, no, I can't do that because I'm not at that level of doing it. Why not try it? Try it out and see how best it can work for you. We are impacted with fear. That's why I feel growth within us youths is limited. So when we remove that fact of fear, when we feed our mindset with positive vibes, I feel like we can still do better as youths.
Talking about doing better as youths, Madam Mvula, we're in a digital world now where we cannot rule out social media, where we cannot rule out as well as something like to do with peer pressure. How does this affect, whether negatively or positively, how does the influence of social media as well as peer pressure get to impact the transformation, this journey towards mindset change? And how should you as a youth or as a student look at it, whether or not you want it to build you or break you?
Okay, so I feel that's why discipline has to come in, because on social media there are a lot of things that happen. We do get to engage ourselves in different activities, but it is about discipline. How are you using your social media platform? Are you using it to connect with others? Are you using it to destroy yourself? Are you using it to engage yourself in drugs, alcohol and stuff like that? So it is about discipline, what you want to do for yourself. How do you want to live yourself? So discipline your mind. I feel that is like a key factor on how we can change that.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Now that even gets me to you, Mr. Mulundu. When we look at what Madam Mvula has raised, and I'm now thinking you being an author as well as a reader, how do you think then you can just try to motivate this mindset change or influence so that in the end we can see that people's mindsets will change alongside the formal education that we know?
Okay, thank you very much. Although I think I also had a very interesting question, like which you had asked earlier on, to say how do you get to tell that now your mindset has matured? And, so there's a quote that I love by Eric Wari, who says you can tell the size of a man by the size of the problem that brings him down.
Okay.
So you can tell the size of the man by the size of the problem that brings him down. So I just want to comment a bit on that one before I get back to your
please.
question. So usually when you want to tell how the level of your growth of your mind, just look at how you react when it comes to challenges. When it comes to problems, how do you react? Because usually a mindset that is negative, whenever there is a problem, it is always going to look for who to blame for that problem. Who could be behind this? Is it my uncle? Is it my auntie? No, I think my workmates are jealous of me.
Okay.
You know, like all those things. But a transformed mindset will look at a challenge, will look at a problem with a question to say, what is this trying to teach me?
Exactly.
And what opportunity can I be able to see out of beyond this challenge? So whenever you are a person who can be able to handle pressure, amidst pressure, you remain calm, you are looking for opportunity, because for you to see opportunities, really, you don't need to be working under panic.
Okay.
You need to be yourself. You need to be very much at the best of your mind, and that only happens when you have not panicked. So the way you react to in times of adversity is what is going to tell how your mindset is.
Okay.
Now, coming to your question, I think I've even forgot.
Okay, I was talking about you being an author.
Okay, how to influence. Okay.
Exactly.
Sure. So, I think for us, or in fact, for me personally, it is not just about this passion that I have, but it's also a thing that I am willing, or I am doing in leading this this narrative of mindset transformation. And in so doing, I have written a book to that effect that just talks about, which the title is Cased by Belief, which is just talking about some of the beliefs that tend to limit us. And of which one of them, I think, is the same thing that we're discussing here, where we are talking of maybe the wrong mindset, and because of that wrong mindset, you tend not to go far, because you have limited yourself of what you are believing about yourself. And not only that, we're also coming up with initiatives like just coming together, organizing events, and one of which is the one which we have organized, which shall be taking place tomorrow at Government Complex, which entry is free. And for this event, we are just trying to start up or have this discussion over how we can be able to, develop our country using the transformed mindset. And this event is expected to bring together over 1,000 students, young professionals, and professionals coming from different sectors who are coming together for us to have this conversation. So, mindset transformation is not a one-day thing. It is a process. A person or people do not change their mindset just immediately they are able to do that. So it's supposed to be a process. And this process is influenced much by what they hear. Because the Bible says faith comes by hearing. So really it is by what they hear that is able to actually influence how they are going to condition their mindset. So this is why I think I've written a book, and we're also advocating for these conversations through the events that we're organizing, like the one which we'll be organizing tomorrow. And I feel we'll still be needed to do more in that area, because that is where the future of our country, the future of our continent depends on.
It's getting interesting now as you talk about you writing a book and an event that is coming up tomorrow. I think let's utilize this time. How is this book aligned with mindset change, and what is or what could be the importance of someone attending this event that you are talking about, that is tomorrow, as you also shed more light? Where is the event, what time, and what should people expect?
Okay, so how this book affects the mindset, or how it can help change the mindset, is like I've mentioned, it is talking about limiting beliefs. So in this book I share my personal story of what really transpired to me, where I've had a taste of what a wrong mindset can do to a person. There's a time in my life when I was told by someone that you are bewitched, and unfortunately for me, I believed it. And when I believed that, everything changed, because now I was living what I believed. So I was living in as a failure, as a victim, and nothing really moved, or I was not able to record any sort of success because of that belief. So it was not until the time that I came to realize, to say, I think maybe this belief is not working for my own good. I decided to start now being deliberate with changing my mindset, and that's when I started to see things now moving. So from that story, I also go on to challenge, because in my own experience, I also had the time when I was moving from one man of God to the other, just trying to see if I can find a solution. So now in this book, I'm also trying to challenge the reader to say, actually, God has put some power in you. That power which can enable you to be able to do your own transformation, do your own things that you need, or that you feel you can be able to do. So it is discovering that power, working and utilizing that power to the max, that is able to help you even be able to get to where you are.
Okay.
In as much as we can have men of God, we can have people who are gifted maybe in healing or what. But at the end of it all, the greatest healer of all was Jesus Christ. And when he was performing these miracles, he told them that your faith has made you whole, or you are healed because of your faith.
Exactly.
So in other words, even when he had that power, him as a creator, he still had to make sure that for that to happen, the person to which it is supposed to happen had to play a role, and that was to be belief or faith. So this is what this book is about. Then the event which we are talking about, like I mentioned, is tomorrow, Saturday, the 28th of February 2026. It is going to be at Government Complex, the new theatre hall, and it is starting in the afternoon at 14 hours sharp. The program starts, but the gates or the doors will be open from 12:30, because from 13 hours we're going to have entertainment up to 14 hours to the official start of the program. So it is going to run up to 17 hours, and entry is free of charge. And then the theme of this event is breaking the invisible chains. So the reason why we've themed this event is because the conversation that we're going to have is just going to help us unlock the mindset of limitation, so that, because we understand that most people are living with invisible chains, and those invisible chains can vary from one person to the other. For others, that invisible chain is a belief that they are not meant to succeed. For others, like I was in my case, they believe that they have been bewitched by their uncle or their auntie. For others, it could be that their invisible chain is maybe they believe that the only way they can be healed, or the only way a miracle can happen, is when they meet a powerful man of God, not knowing that it is actually their faith. So we are talking about these invisible chains, where this conversation is just going to, be going around the mindset transformation and how we can actually be able to use it as a tool towards national development.
Okay.
So our expectation is that each one who walks in this event is that as they go, they are not going to go back the same person, but they will go actually having discovered one or two things that is going to help them unlock their future. Okay,
thank you very much. I'll get back to you now. Let me just talk to Madam Mvula, and this would happen to be my last question in the best interest of time. Madam Mvula, looking at this event that is coming up, I would love to ask this question. What is the importance of someone being willing to make some changes? Because mindset change, like you had talked about, discipline, comes with you being willing to change certain things, or bending towards or away from certain things that you had earlier believed in. What is the importance of this? And again, what could be the importance of someone just being innovative and being skillful and thinking beyond just getting a degree? And I mean it.
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, it is actually helping us to move from dependency to creativity. So we don't want only to depend on one thing, but instead let us make opportunities for ourselves. So it is like a person makes opportunities out of their struggles. You see what you're going through. How can I help myself? How can I change the narrative of what is going on right now? So I feel we still can do better, like in terms of creating initiatives where we can get to involve skills, in as much as we can have our degrees, our diplomas. But I feel like we still have to do better in terms of us being involved in skills, interactions with businessmen, I would say, because it is not everyone that is going to get the job that they studied for. We can be studying medicine, nursing, but it is not everyone that is going to be in that sector. So aside that, you have to think to say, the government just is not going to employ everyone. What can I do for myself? How can I help myself? Because in as much as you won't be employed, you won't just stay there to say, no, I'm going to wait until the recruitment is going to to give happen. Me a job. Yeah. So let us have that strategic mind. Let us push ourselves. Let us have initiatives on how we can change ourselves to have a better life, I feel.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Madam Mvula there. Now, lastly, as I come to you, Mr. Mulundu, one might be wanting to attend this event, or maybe they might want to have further questions about the event. How then do they get in touch with you or the organizers?
All right, so to start with, our campaign, our movement of this conversation has been very much actively promoted on social media. Start with Facebook or TikTok, we've been able to market our program, our conversation. And my Facebook page, Keagan Mulundu, has actually all the information that you need about it, and you can still be able to reach me on there. Or actually, you can still be able to get in touch with us and the team using the number 0976 12 12 13, 0976 121213.
Okay, your closing remarks and your message to the public.
Sure. My closing remarks to you, the viewers out there. I know you might be, as you're watching, you see the title, Beyond Degrees, Why Mindset Transformation Matters in National Development. And maybe you could be wondering to say, are these young people trying to discourage or discredit degrees or schooling? No, very far from that. We are not saying that degrees are not important. They are very much important. But what we are saying is, in order for us to be able to get the maximum benefit of what we are looking for, be it in education or what, let us also be able to transform the mind, because that is going to act as a catalyst that is going to help us move forward as a nation and even as a society at home.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keagan Mulundu there, who happens to be an author. Of course, he was accompanied by Madam Blessings Mvula, who is a student at Evelyn Horn College. We come to the end of the interview as we were talking about Beyond Degrees. We're talking about why mindset transformation matters, of course, in national development. My name is Andrew Chandazulu, as we even come to the end of the entire Daylight Breakfast Show, urging you to say, keep it locked to KBN television as you enjoy the rest of the programming. Good morning.
Live from Lusaka, Zambia. This is the KBN TV's Daylight Breakfast Show.